Hey there, creepy collectors, how's it going? It's Douglas here at Drownway Productions, bringing you another Scre4m Ghostface collector's video. And as you can already tell by the title and thumbnail of today's video, we've got a pretty awesome piece to take a look at today. But first, we're going to be taking a look at a few other things that were sent in. In one of my most recent videos, I received the NECA Head Knockers Ghostface bobblehead from a fellow fan and collector named Skylar Hamlin, and I'd also worked out a deal for a couple of other pieces coming from Skylar, and those have finally arrived. So let's look at those first. So the first item in today's video is something that I wish that they would bring back because I loved these things when I was a kid. I don't think these are exclusively just Fun World products because I seem to remember them doing like Freddy and Jason variants of this and maybe even a Leatherface one around the same time. But here we have the plastic Ghostface goblet. This thing is really cool. Obviously for the Ghostface character it's kind of bland because it's just like a black fabric texture over most of the goblet, and then you've got Ghostface's face. But as far as the shape of the face, I think it's really well done. And I think this is just a really good looking goblet. Now I have not sipped out of this chalice quite yet as it has just arrived, but I'll probably end up drinking out of this at some point, maybe for like a stab-a-thon or some kind of event like that I host, maybe a Halloween party. And I also gotta add, after glancing over at the rest of my Ghostface drinkware set, that this is probably the coolest drinkware that Ghostface has. Well, I said I had items from Skylar, and realistically I guess it was just the one because both of these other two items were sent to me as gifts from her, so these were complete surprises. Here we have an original sealed Ghostface bottle opener. Now I actually was gifted one of these several months back from Tim Wagstaff over at ghostface.co.uk, but the one that Tim gifted me was partially opened, partially resealed with one of his ghostface.co.uk stickers, and this one is completely sealed. So now that I have a nice sealed one for the collection, I'm in between keeping the other one sealed still, because it's still mostly sealed, and then possibly opening it to use it, but I would never really use it because the only bottle tops I open are twist top sody pops. But yeah, this is a pretty cool product from the Scream 4 era. This actually came out in 2012, I do believe, or at least this one in particular was released in 2012. But the head there, for the handle of the bottle opener, is actually very well done. And I mean, I can't really speak much about the bottle opener itself, it's just a bottle opener. And this last one is pretty awesome because it's really unique for what I have here in the collection, but also a little bit disappointing in some ways. Here we have a PSD, The Big Sniff, Ghostface air freshener. So as far as the image here, clearly you have the TD stamped Ghostface classic Scream 4 era imaging. Nothing special about it other than the fact that it has the PSD branding under Ghostface's chin. And it says that the scent here is Midnight Breeze. And that's where the disappointment comes in. Why? Why is it that they've made so many scented items or candles, typically items that would be scented, for Ghostface, but they haven't done a vanilla one? Come on. Like seriously, you would think by now that they would have done a Ghostface shaped candle or some sort of Scream branded candle that was a vanilla scented. Or at least it would bring back the nostalgia of smelling those old masks, because I feel like most people who think of a scent associated with Ghostface, they typically immediately think of the vanilla scented masks. So I just don't know why it is that they've never done vanilla scented air fresheners, vanilla scented candles. It seems like the obvious go-to choice, but instead we have Midnight Breeze. And I think it does have a little scratch and sniff thing, so I'm gonna give it a scratch and give it a sniff. It's a very faint scent. It's not bad, but not overwhelming enough to even probably want to buy this. The back doesn't really have anything special on it, and I mean, it's just a little Ghostface air freshener. But I will say, PSD has put out quite a few other Ghostface products. I think around the same time period, they did a shot glass, some underwear, like men and women's underwear. They did quite a few products in that one lineup. And next up, we have the only mask for today's video. It's nothing super special. This was just a case of, wow, that's incredibly cheap for what it is, and I don't have one. May as well pick it up. Here we have a well-loved droop hooded EU mask. This is not the mask and cape version. This is just the EU droop hood. I used to have one of these that was really immaculate, and this one is anything but. Unfortunately, the shroud here has had quite a few runs in it. I think I mentioned to you guys how just the way that they stitched it, it was like very common for when you stretch it to put it on for there to be runs to just go up through the fabric, and this one is full of them. So the back of the shroud, not in the best shape, but I figured if anything, most of these are going to be sitting on shelves on display anyway, and it still had a really nice shaped face. it actually was completely like bent up like this whenever I got it. And really, other than that, the only issue is it does unfortunately have this really dark stain here on the chin. I don't think there's much that could be done about that unless I decided to like do retro brighting, which I think it's kind of unnecessary for one of these, and probably very unwieldy to try and do on one of these big droop hooded masks. But like I said, it was one of the variants missing, and this thing was just ridiculously cheap. Like cheaper than a store-bought 25th anniversary mask, so couldn't really pass it up for what it was. And now, finally, we have made it to the unboxing. I'm really excited to see this thing and tell you guys some more about it, so let's go ahead and crack it open. Alright, I think that is everything out of the box, so let's go ahead and take a look at the COA first, and then we'll show the item. Because I noticed the COA is right here on top. The COA, which is from Premier Props, reads, "From Scre4m, it is hereby certified that the following item was used during the production of the above movie. This is Charlie Walker, Rory Culkin's, screen-worn, very bloody, gray with orange tiny design snap button up the front, 2 Western-style pockets, Salt Valley Western shirt." But let's take a look at that shirt. So this is really awesome because this is my first true piece of bloody clothing from any of the series, any of the franchise. Technically, my Ghostface robe here has a little bit of stage blood on it and some spots, so you could consider that a bloody Ghostface costume. And this also is a bloody Ghostface costume. Let's go ahead and unfold it and take a look. Very, very cool. Check that out, guys. So, as for information on this shirt, it says that it's screen worn, but some of you out there who are eagle-eyed viewers might be looking at this and thinking, the blood doesn't quite match up. Or better yet, some of you out there who are fans of Nate Reagan's collection know that he has the entire screen-used hero Charlie Walker death scene outfit. It was used for pretty much everything from Kirby's attack onwards to the end of the film where Charlie dies, obviously. And this would have been used for one of those takes. Now, here's the thing. This was not seen in the final cut of the film anywhere that we've been able to find. I couldn't screen match the blood to anything. However, this would have been probably the first take version. And what that would mean is that this shirt in particular, since it does say that it was screen worn on the COA and that's what it was marked as from production, would have been used in the movie before it got blood on it, so it was probably used in some previous scenes. I think maybe from the Stabathon on is when he's wearing this specific t-shirt, or long sleeve shirt, you get the point. But ultimately, it would not have been seen on screen with the blood on it at all. And then when they were doing the first takes of Kirby's death scene, I'm guessing that they probably would have shot with this, and either they didn't like the way the blood looked, or perhaps this smear that happened up here because it doesn't look like something that was intentionally done by production, this smear in specific. Maybe at some point during the take, his hands touched the shirt, or something went wrong with the blood, and they decided ultimately not to use this one and to go with the next take. And so this actually was worn by Charlie, was worn by Rory Culkin, and that's just really fucking cool, guys. When I was offered this initially, I almost passed on it, and it was offered to me for a ridiculously good price, like almost literally giving it away. I'm not exaggerating. Really, really cheap price. Thought about passing on it, and ultimately I thought about it for a second and said, you know, if I was offered Billy, Stu's, Miss Loomis's, Mickey's, Roman, any other killer's Ghostface reveal outfit, I would want that outfit and would go for it in a heartbeat, so why shouldn't I go after Charlie's? Charlie is far from the coolest killer motive-wise, but he does do a lot of the work in Scream 4, and he is the main Ghostface killer, so I would consider this to be one of the main killer outfits, because this is also from the scenes in which Charlie is revealed to be the Ghostface killer. You get what I'm saying? Within the context of what it is, this is a Ghostface t-shirt. I keep saying t-shirt, but you get that it's not a t-shirt, you know what I mean. I noticed that it does have a costumer's tag up here attached to the actual tag for the shirt, but unfortunately it's not like the big beige actual costume tags that some of these outfits came with, that had every scene that they were used in listed with, whatever else it may be. Some had them, some didn't from Scream 4, and I also noticed that there were some other versions of this shirt that had been put up for sale by Premier back in the day, but most of those were labeled as stunt, backup, never used pieces, and literally did have the tag attached saying that they were never used. whereas this one obviously was sold by Premier as Scre4m, so not too many of the actual Scre4m shirts out there, and really not too many Charlie Walker outfits. I know that there are a few in the hands of some private collectors, but outside of those, as far as public collectors, I think pretty much everything Charlie has worn is owned by Nate, me, and Maggie Blaine. And with that being said, I think all of you out there who are watching this should be subscribed to Reagan Productions and Scream Queen 89, because they make awesome Scream content too, and they have really cool Scream use props, as well as just other Ghostface merchandise present on their channel, so go check it out. And I don't recall if I've said this already, but I have to give a massive shout out to another huge Scream fan and collector, Arturo Reyes. Arturo has an absolutely amazing collection featuring things from every single Scream film, tons of cast and crew stuff, amazing props, and he's even received ridiculously awesome pieces from the newest Scream, including Dewey's stunt revolver, which was also used in Halloween Kills. How fucking cool is that? So I gotta give a huge shout out to Arturo for selling me this piece yet again for such an amazing price, and the fact that you even offered it to me in the first place. I greatly appreciate that. Hey everybody, so while recording the cinematics of this costume, I noticed something on here that was not displayed in the original Premier Props auction photos and was not shown to me by the person that sold it to me. There were no photos of the back whatsoever, and there is a little bit of blood on the back, but I noticed something really cool that could give us a bit of a clue as to why maybe this wasn't used. On the back of the shirt, at the bottom right hand side, you can see what is pretty clearly a bloody handprint. I'm guessing maybe someone grabbed the back of the shirt before letting go and falling down, and perhaps that was from Kirby's death scene. So unfortunately, without one of the actors reaching out and maybe commenting on something, or some crew member who would possibly remember this from a certain take, there's no way to say for sure. But I'm guessing from that bloody handprint and perhaps even the smear here that Kirby more so fell onto Charlie and grabbed onto Charlie for the initial take of her death scene. But regardless, still a really cool piece, and the bloody handprint detail makes it even cooler. And with that being said, I guess there's nothing left to do but give you guys some close-ups of today's items, and I gotta find somewhere to put Charlie's t-shirt. Maybe I'll put him back up there with Robbie, huh? But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Love you all, thank you for watching, and see you next time.